Hello everyone, this is Zark, and this is a game review of Prison Architect. Now, before we start with the actual game, we're just going to talk a little bit about the developers, which is Introversion Software. It's a British company, they're indie game developers, and it's a total of 7 employees. So, pretty much that'll get you kind of started what this game kind of is. It's so far amazing, and I've played it, I've been around I guess on it for about 8 to 9 months, and they update about every month. And so what this game is, well, of course it's an alpha, but it's, I guess, what it kind of sounds like. You build your own prison and you manage it. This is the prison that I have. I've spent about 16, 17 hours on it, and of course that was split up in a few days, not just at once. Although I did sit down and play for a long time. And I did a little bit of planning, and you can do that, and it's very important to plan the whole thing out, otherwise you'll get wrong measurements and end up with useless space. And eventually, as you go on, you'll have to probably end up destroying some stuff, moving it around. I used to have things here, but yep, I currently hold 388 prisoners, and I plan to actually improve it even more and continue. This is, as of now, update 20. And what update 20 added, as at least what I believe, they added some programs. You can go to, pretty much they can go to school and everything. There's a lot of little features in this, and it's still in an alpha, and they plan to add even more. I heard like an interview, and what they're going to be adding is things like gyms and even more. And I guess with the gyms update, they're probably going to be adding something like basketball courts. But this is pretty much it. Really large cell blocks, and so let's see. Let's start with a few of the features. So, of course, no order that the updates added this, but pretty much the foundations is what you use to make buildings. And pretty much foundations will make the visitation, cell blocks, all this, pretty much every single building that you see. And inside these or outside you can make walls, brick walls. I like to use for my actual foundation brick walls, and then the walls actual out here concrete. And then you can add fences, change up the floor for the classrooms in this one cell block here. I made it wood, and you know what, in fact I'll go and make this wood. Improve that a little bit, make the classrooms look nice. Go up here, add some wood here. There we go, that should make it look a little bit better. And then you can have rooms. These are all the different little types of rooms. They're unlocked as you continue the game and unlock them. So we have like kitchen, canteen, solitary, storage, common room, all kinds of stuff. You can even send them to go to work. Right now it's work time. They're in the laundry. Not really any people in the workshop for some reason. Make sure, yeah, people are going there. Work's just now starting actually, or no it isn't. I don't know what they're doing, they're not working. These guys over here are, that's good. And people are going to school. So it's pretty much work time, and then you have objects that you can place. Now you kinda gotta zoom in for different little rooms so you can actually build them. You got tables, serving tables here, cookers, fridges, more stuff like that. And for the showers, this office desk, all kinds of little objects you can add. And then staff, of course. You got like workmen, guard, armed guards. Now, I don't like to have too many armed guards because if you have them in a lot of public areas, they'll kind of be too suppressed, and they might not like that. They'll kind of be more, I don't know, angry or something. I don't know if they would really do anything though, since they're armed guards. And of course doctors, cooks, gardeners, janitors, dog handlers, wardens, chief, foreman, psychologist, accountant. Now for some reason my HUD is extremely small, so you probably won't be able to read this all. But this is kind of the HUD down here, and usually it's not that small for some reason. And then utilities. And yes, you have to deal with the utilities. You got power station, water pumps, and you have to deal with all of this. I have 4 power stations, and they all power different things. I had to do this because I had shitloads of power outages, and it got extremely annoying, so Ended up just kind of splitting it up in different corners of the map almost. And speaking about utilities, if you ever plan to have a laundry room, make a pop valve. Otherwise, it will blow up. And I had that happen near the start of this game. Oops, sorry about that. Near the start of this game, and it blew up. And I was like, seriously, what the hell? And I had like prisoners die over and over again until I finally looked up some guides and figured that out. So you gotta have like pipes going everywhere, and you don't want to have it on the outside because they'll dig. They'll freaking tunnel out and escape your prison. Had that happen, so I started making everything on the inside. So pretty much then bureaucracy. This is the stuff you unlock. You of course start out with the warden. You have to spawn him first and make an office. And you start out with nothing of this except for the warden, of course. And you pretty much have to expand. I mean, you won't have patrols, prison policies, or anything. There will be no prison labor, no education. There won't even be any. There'll be pretty much nothing. There'll be no doctors. And you have to unlock that, and it will take a little bit of time and money. So you kind of got to start out small, like pretty much 20 prisoners for your first one, and then just build up as you go. And then deployment. You got over here all kinds of little things. Pretty much jobs. This is where they work, where you want the guards to be. Guard patrols, dog patrols, armed guard patrols. Pretty much if you want to share it, then you can kind of click it. Pretty much what shared means is like pretty much combines, like everyone can go there. Or you can set like medium security. I have medium security for this room, and actually I'm supposed to be setting them for these, so I'll go ahead and do that. So medium security will only be in these, work in some of these jobs, so the max security prisoners, they won't, you know, have access to like freaking drills and knives, stuff like that. So it's a little bit harder for them to access, but there's still trade and contraband and everything. And of course staff only. I don't want them to go to a lot of these places, so it's kind of restricted areas. In fact, I'll make that restricted too. Sometimes I forgot to restrict some of these areas. That should be good right there. But pretty much they can't go to some of these rooms. They have no access to them. And then of course contraband. This is pretty much where the contraband dangers are. So they can get fork and spoons from here, and they usually do get the spoons, and it's really annoying because you've got to put metal detectors everywhere, otherwise they'll just take it and try to tunnel out. Yes, with a spoon. And 7 days pretty much, you can kind of do recent what they've stole. As you can see, shitloads of spoons. Sometimes they'll try to smuggle things though. He was caught by this dog. That's why dogs are really good. They'll kind of detect these drugs and everything. And next is emergencies down here. Pretty much what you can do is if everything gets out of hand, you can get some riot police, paramedics, stuff like that. And eventually, if we'll go back to bureaucracy, eventually if you get this clone, then you can kind of clone little buildings, or you know, partially, kind of like each cell, and then do this, so you don't have to keep doing it over and over again. And the next one is planning. Super important because you want to kind of line everything up, you know, get this, you want about a 2x3 cell block. So you would kind of end up doing something like this. And as you can see, that's already uneven, so that's why you do that. And you would kind of fix it, and like, oh, this is the start of a cell block. And so on. Then you have grading. This doesn't show up until 10 prisoners have been released. I have about, just now turned to 215 prisoners been released. And so depending on your type of prison, the punishment might be low or high. This pretty much is like the policies you kind of said, how often people are like locked up, how much free time you have. Even though my punishment is high, I have about 7 hours of free time, so they get to do whatever they want. And free time, I think, is really important because they'll go shower, recreational stuff, otherwise they'll be pissed off and want to kill everyone and have a riot and everyone dies. So the next part, you can click at the very top little toolbar and it'll open up this menu. Pretty much you can see all the staff. I have 211 staff, the prisoners you have, jobs, needs, contraband, resume, policy, grants, programs, finance, and visitation. And some of this won't be unlocked at the start, so you have to, of course, unlock the bureaucracy, such as finance, security, and stuff, and then it'll eventually be unlocked. So what you always need to pay attention to is your needs. My clothing has been a problem for a while. Don't know what to really do. I upgraded the laundry and added more janitors and added them where they work there, and still not helping too much. And so here's the contraband menu to see what the supply and demand is like. It often changes, and I'm not sure if it still counts it even if they get caught, so I'm not sure. Probably when they do get caught. So this guy's being searched right now. See if they find anything on him. Let's fast forward a little bit. Meanwhile, I'm going to disable the incoming prisoners. So, yep, they found tools on him. He's going to lockdown for 3 hours. So the hours on this are a little bit strange, I guess. You don't want to lock them up for too long, otherwise they'll decrease their needs. It's still an alpha, and they don't have it where they feed people in the solitary. So, but pretty much this is the most things. All of these things here, programs and everything for education, and kitchen safety and hygiene. So a very important thing is looking at the grants. You want to get grants and everything to get your prison started, otherwise you just won't have enough money. So it's important to try to complete these two as soon as possible, because you will probably sadly run out of money at the very start. That's why you could try to get a bank loan. So I can get like a bank loan that gave me $25,000, but it'll make my cash flow go down a little bit. I don't need it too much or anything, so I'm just going to go and pay that off. And that's kind of how the bank loans work. They're pretty helpful at times, but they will cause you to go bankrupt if you're not careful. But use them to your advantage, and so for the grants too. And get your prison started up. It should be small at the very start. You got to have, like, you know, the basics: holding cell, shower, yard, kitchen, canteen, and pretty much 2 guards and 2 chefs. That'll get you pretty much started. You can probably go with 1 chef, would be okay, but pretty much 2 chefs if you want to complete the grant. So you probably want to do that. And of course, we're in a little office area. You'll probably want to have storages. It's a lot of room. You can probably limit some things so they'll be a little bit screwed at the start, as you do need to get cash flow. It's just important to, of course, have the shower and then have food. Recreational things that can probably come later until you expand your prison. But I believe this is about all. There's a lot of features, and they plan to upgrade and update in the future. It's a monthly update, so I'm looking forward to the next update. It's about, I believe, maybe 18 days away or so, give or take. Sometimes released a little early or late. And I'm looking forward to what the next update will be, and I'll continue playing off and on, of course, but I've played this and I've loved it so much. I've probably got about at least 4 days of like total gameplay, probably more. Wouldn't doubt it, because this prison has like 17 hours almost now, and I have plenty more. Luckily, this is one of the only prisons that I had that actually succeeded and got this far. This is definitely my biggest prison. My other ones were kind of small or just failed, didn't do too good. There's a few problems with this I'd like to improve, of course. Extend this yard out some maybe, but definitely good. And of course the resume has it where they sleep. They need to get about 6 hours of sleep every night. Anyways, I hope you at least consider this game. You can get it on Steam. I believe it was, got it for like 30 or 40 bucks. I can't remember. I think it's actually 36. It's 10% off for the alpha. And it's definitely worth it, or at least consider it. Check out some other trailers and all. And I hope you at least consider this game, because I am definitely bugging all of my friends to play this and tormenting about it. Anyways, thank you for watching. Make sure to check out my other videos and make a comment if you have any questions. Thanks.